We are all aware that ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has created devastating effects not only on health and economies of the world, but the teaching and learning education system is completely devastated due to closure of all colleges and institutions. So because lockdown is prevailing everywhere, so physical classroom concept is now being turned into virtual classrooms. That's the only way teaching and learning can happen. And in this semester, at least, all the classes are going to be online. So there are some rules which we have framed for online classing for students. Those we will discuss in today's lecture. In order to have effective teaching and learning system using online classrooms, there are few rules which need to be remembered by students. So today we will discuss about those rules. So the complete teaching and learning system is now shifted on virtual classrooms using online interfaces. So the first requirement is selection of a virtual classroom interface. So as a student, you need to select a proper, easier and compatible interface which will be used for studying purpose, for teaching and learning purpose. That would again depend on the teaching faculty as well. So depending on the choices of the faculty, a proper interface will be selected. There are many interfaces which are available these days. And the first requirement is a system. You must have a smartphone or a tab or a computer, laptop or desktop which has a very good internet connection along with camera. Then internet connection is a real problem, because in suburbs, in rural areas, especially in India, where the internet connectivity is poor, so it's going to be a real issue. So students should ensure in advance they have got a proper internet connection which will be used in teaching and learning system using virtual classrooms. So that could be your mobile phone may have internet connection or Wi-Fi, or as per availability with the student that can be employed here. Then login name. When you log into the system, you are not supposed to use any random ID. For example, many students use their parents login ID or some bizarre numbers which are not even recognizable. So here it's very important for you that you use your real name. Whatever your name is, that should be your login name as well. So don't use any awkward number or symbol which cannot be related to your identification. So using proper name is very important as login. Then be punctual. You need to be very punctual. You join at least 5 minutes in advance. If you are going to have a class at 9 o'clock, for example, you join at least 5 minutes minimum in advance, so that there is no delay, because if you are late in the class and class is already started, and when you join in between, that hampers the speed of the class. So teacher has to stop the teaching process and acknowledge your entry to the virtual classroom, so that will waste time. So it's very important you join on time. Then your camera should be all the time on. Don't switch off your camera. So it's better for you to locate some isolated area in your house or in your room where disturbance is minimized, and your camera can be kept on all the time during the lecture hours. Then your mic should be mute. You only unmute yourself if you want to have interaction, if you want to ask questions or participate into discussion which will lead you for teaching and learning process. Otherwise your mic should be all the time mute. Then if you are using a mobile phone, a smartphone, your camera should be in landscape mode. It should not be in portrait mode, because your photo, your picture visualization should be very clear, and for that is important your camera is not in it should be in the landscape mode. So ensure that. If you are using a tab or a computer, it doesn't matter in that case, but for smartphone it's important you keep that into landscape. Then the distance from the camera should be appropriate. For example, here you can easily see if the distance is too close, so in fact it gives you unreal impression about your being. So it's important, so you optimize a proper distance from the camera, so you are visually clear. Then your location should be at the center. You should acquire a center position in front of the camera, not like, for example, in these examples, should not be on either of the sides. Rather, you should be sitting just in front of the camera and generally located at the center point. Then another important point here to remember is your background. Your background should be clean and clear. It's better you have uniform background when you are facing camera during virtual classroom. And another important point is your light. Your light should not be coming from behind. Light should be coming on your face. If light is coming from your behind, your face will be very poorly visible, like you can see in the figure. So light should be from the front side. That's a very important point to remember when you are facing camera during virtual classroom sessions. Then your distance from your camera should be appropriate, so that you are clearly seen and you are clearly framed into the camera. And be static, don't move in front of the camera. You try to avoid mobility, and best for that purpose is you sit down on a chair and keep your camera static position on the top of the table. Then eatables are not allowed. Don't eat anything when you are in front of the camera. Yes, but you can drink. If you require, you can drink in between. Drinks is fine. You eat before class has started. That is advisable. Then your dress code should be formal. Don't be in casual when you are facing camera and you are appearing in virtual classroom. At least your top shirt should be there in the formal way. Then always keep a notebook and pen handy with you, so you can make notes whenever required, so you can remember what has been discussed in the classroom session. Otherwise you will forget after the class is over, and then it will be very difficult to recall unless the lecture is being recorded and being supplied to you. That would again depend on the faculty coordinator, the instructor, teacher. Then another important point is backup, your power backup. Your computer or laptop or tab or your mobile phone should have sufficient power backup, so it doesn't go in between the classes going on. Otherwise that will be a miss for you. You will miss important lectures. Then be interactive. The most important part in teaching and learning system is interactive. So interactive learning is the most efficient way which can make you learn, you can learn a topic more deep into your memory. So always raise questions when you are in front of camera, you are facing teacher. So whenever you have any doubt, you raise your hand, unmute your mic and ask the question, or actively participate into discussion. That's a very important point. In fact, when you are into discussion, that also give a positive feedback to the instructor, to the teacher about yourself, that you are actively participating into the classroom study. So that is always good to interact during class. For effective learning, it is very important thing to be interactive during class hours.